All right, Alicia Krause has all kinds of news.
Whew. Well, the big one from over the weekend, I had dozens of friends and former colleagues in the room of the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Of course, just to do a roundup of what happened, the accused gunman, Cole Thomas Allen, 31, is from right here in Torrance, California. He apparently was apprehended by law enforcement. There's tons of crazy video, including video that we have of the president, First Lady Melania Trump's reaction when gunshots were heard. We now know that they were all in a main ballroom on the kind of like the basement level, fits 2,600 people, was built specifically after the assassination attempt on Ronald Reagan back in 1981 for this reason, because there's a safe holding room behind the dais, and then there's a separate entrance for the president to use. Secret Service was fully responsible for the security at this event, but the hotel did have other guests there, and we know that the gunman was staying there and clearly was able to train, plane, and automobile, except I don't think he planed at all, and was armed with a shotgun, a handgun, knives, and other weapons.
This is unfortunately for everyone, this is a big argument for the ballroom. On the White House.
That was trending on X over the weekend.
The thing about the ballroom is now I know you guys are full of shit, because here's how you guys should work. You should go, hate Trump, hate him, and I don't like this whole Iraq or Iran war. I'm against that. But look, having the border closed down, okay, that's good. And then what about experimental drugs or psilocybin for guys who are shell-shocked? Yeah, okay, that one's good. I don't like the tariffs. Okay. What about the ballroom? I don't care. Someone's paying for it. I don't care. You guys just hate everything. Makes me think you just hate him, because no reason to hate a ballroom that donors are paying for.
Yep. So here we have the moments of when that's Caroline Leavitt, First Lady Michelle Obama, the mentalist, I think his name is Oz something, I just went blank on his name, President Trump, and then the president of the White House Correspondents Association, Weijia Zhang.
Is that who that is?
Yes. So she had already spoken earlier in the night about the importance of the First Amendment and thanked President Trump for going, because I don't think he's attended since before he ran for office.
Yes.
I want to say it was like 2010, 2011 was the last time he was there. And he was going to speak tonight, or that night. And so Weijia had already spoken. The mentalist is like doing a trick for the First Lady and everybody up on the dais. And this transpired.
It's Perlman. By the way, it was literally the second Oz paid off his trick that the firing started, because the woman, the Chinese woman,
Weijia
Zhang is going, oh my God, like I can't believe you
just
guessed his dead cat's name. Yeah. And right there, when the firing started, it wasn't a second later.
Yeah.
So if it started 10 seconds later, at least everyone could have marveled at what the mentalist did, but it literally happened simultaneously. He had a statement that he put out on X and Instagram saying that the Secret Service did a stellar job of keeping everybody up on the dais safe. Weijia Zhang later got up and said, hey, we're going to be doing this again. But yeah, I mean, poor Caroline Leavitt, she's pregnant. Stephen Miller's wife is pregnant. There are other pregnant women. I mean, I guess my thought went to like all the pregnant ladies was the first thing. Like, been there, done that. Do not want to be running in heels. I'm not happy to say, but I was thinking about them before the shooting started. You know me? Certain guys got certain proclivities, I think we call it.
This is another angle.
Yeah, crazy.
Of people starting to react.
I liked all the lady journalists stealing wine.
Oh my gosh,
that was kind of fun.
That clip was kind of amazing. And by the way, is it really stealing if your company paid for the alcohol that's on the table? I will defend these ladies.
There's a lot of times people get really uppity about stuff. The woman who's my hero is the one that just started chugging.
Oh, I missed that one. We need to be friends.
Yeah, look, first off, it's sort of like saying, it's like the pilot going, the number 3 engine's on fire. Hey, if you're not chugging what's left, that is your time to do it. You know what I mean? Like there's shots fired.
Did you see the video of the old man sitting in the chair eating his food while everybody else is under the table?
Yes, that would be me. Oh, actually, I'd be on to other people's food.
You'd be going around like.
But I just love the woman who's chugging that bottle of red.
Secret Service is jumping from chair to chair, looking for the line of secession for the president of the United States to make sure everybody's out of the building and safe. And there's a shot of Adam like this gal. So to be fair, everybody had already been like told that they could go home. I think that this woman and somebody on Instagram was like, she got the babysitter. It's mom's night out. You might as well take what you paid for.
I will defend her till the bitter end. Just like Katie Porter yelling at her lackeys. I'm not going to hold that against her.
Really?
Not at all.
Wow.
All the greats that won World War II yelled at people. General Patton yelled at guys in hospital beds, for Christ's sake. You can yell at PA. Who cares?
I think the guys in the hospital beds, though, is very different than like being a witch about a circumstance.
She's
and, like,
a witch, but if she had any policies that I agreed with, I'd let her yell at her staff, and then I would back her on her policies. But she yells at her staff, and she has horrible policy.
So it lines up.
Well, the yelling part is neither here nor there when it comes to running the city. As a matter of fact, I do think the yellers sort of get more done in their own way. Like, I've seen The Devil Wears Prada like 13 times, and
wait.
And Meryl Streep's character is mean, but she fucking ran a hell of a publication. You know what I mean?
You've seen it 13 times?
6.
You like
3.
that movie?
That's right. I watched that. I watched Sex and the City. I watch all those movies.
Really? Mm-hmm. So you like a little like rom-com?
I do, and also it's a good movie. Like it's a well-crafted movie.
So I'm doing a mom's night out when the next one comes out.
Yeah, so
if you want to join Adam, you can be the DD.
Meryl Streep is a mean bitch who runs a super tight ship.
And looks fabulous doing it.
Everyone is scared of her. No one. She yells at everybody, and a whole bunch of shit gets done.
But that they've done studies though that show that like corporal punishment and yelling at kids specifically, and actually in corporations across the board, it creates a distrust in leadership, and then it has less loyalty, and people are less likely to perform when they are like mistreated that way.
Yelling at kids. No, look.
No, but I'm saying like from childhood on, they talk about like.
Here's the problem, though. You're comparing it to what? Because the alternative is like sort of zero getting yelled at, and then that makes with a bunch of people, taking the day off for their half birthday. Anyway, I don't mind Katie Porter yelling at her staff. What I mind is her horrific, destructive policies.
Got it.
All right. So they're trying to kill Trump.
Yep. Well, the guy's manifesto said that he was willing to. He said he didn't want to kill like hotel staff or even hotel security, but he said that like law enforcement, Secret Service agents, everybody that got anybody within the administration was up for grabs, but that his main target was President Trump. And then what is really crazy, I mean, once again, guys, 2,600 people in the room, left, right, and center. I mean, you had representatives from MS Now, CNN, Daily Wire, Fox News, NPR. I mean, the list goes on and on. There was a broad group of media represented in that room, and he saw them all as complicit, even the most radical left ones, because they were present in the room, and he said he would be willing to kill them. If that isn't a wake-up call to the mainstream media that these people are evil and maybe we need to stop feeding into their craziness, I don't know what is.
Also, didn't he say that, he's in Ted Lieu's district, who's a fucking complete moron and a liar, but Ted Lieu is the one who's always up there saying that Trump's a pedophile and that Trump's trying to harm kids or kill kids. Like, if you keep saying that about somebody, then that person does need to be shot because you're saying he's trying to kill kids and he's a pedophile and he's Hitlerian and he's a tyrannical dictator and he's trying to end our American experiment. Then, yeah, that person should get shot at, just like you'd be right to shoot at Hitler back in the day. You would be a hero. Here's what they say. They go. It's basically like saying. So they go. I never said violence. I never said no. You said Hitler 30 times.
You said child pedophile.
Right, and we'll play some of these. But what I'm saying is it's like if I said. It's like someone goes. Somebody tried to put that dog down, and they're blaming you. And I never said put the dog down. I just said he was riddled with cancer and probably wouldn't make it through the week. But I didn't say put him down. I just said he's riddled with cancer and he's probably not going to make it through the week. I never said go check the tape. I didn't say put the dog down. No, they are doing what they would do if you said what you said. So when you say Hitler and you say end of democracy, then somebody's got to stop that. All right, we'll play a super montage of super dumb people saying it.
Let me ask you tonight, do you think Donald Trump is a fascist?
Kamala.
This is what kicking the shit out of fascism looks
Swalwell
like.
in his
Try
prime.
to prevent the spread of the lawlessness and the
Jamie
fascist
Raskin.
chaos that's been unleashed against us.
So when we say Donald Trump is a fascist, fascism,
Watch your checker
a
notes.
huge component
Watch your
of
checker
fascism,
notes.
is uniting racism, bigotry,
What?
a form of racist
Okay. Yeah,
nationalism.
racist nationalism. Hold on a second.
living.
I got to write racist nationalism on a napkin and put it next to me. Watch her one more time. Just watch her go. It's a bigotry. It's a racism. It's a white form of nationalism. Like, do you even know what you're saying?
No.
All right, watch her again. Just take from the top. It's fun.
Fascism, a huge component of fascism, is uniting racism, bigotry, a form of racist nationalism.
This is, you're now living in a fascist dictatorship.
Fat miser.
We are worried about potential rise of fascism in this country. We're worried about our democracy falling to an authoritarian and potentially fascist form of government.
Not only to roll over to Donald Trump's will, but to roll over our democracy and allow him to take over this country as a fascist dictator.
When fascism isn't just coming, it's already here.
The former chairman of the Joint Chiefs
Tim
of
Walz
Staff,
is great.
Mark Milley, said, no one has ever been more dangerous to this country than Donald Trump, and he is a fascist to his core.
But by the way,
to your point, if no one has ever been more dangerous to this country, then dear God, that's terrifying. And what are we supposed to do about it?
you got to kill him because we want to maintain our democracy. I've done Celebrity Apprentice with him, and I also done Marriage Ref. I've done a few shows with him, but he never pulled me aside and talked to me about fascism. But what my question is he's fascist to his core, but he started being fascist when he was 73 and a half, or when did he start being fascist?
Not when they were going to his wedding.
That's right.
Not when they were hanging out at Mar-a-Lago.
Right. So
Not when they went to his Christmas party at Trump Tower.
These people who are in the system are lying. And I've said it a million times. They are lying, but young men are listening, and they are picking up weapons. That's the problem, and that's why they're responsible. Because they're like, I never said kill him. Every time you call him fascist or Hitler, you are saying to an assassin, please take him out so that we could regain our... And every time we say we've lost our country, let's just hear Pritzker talk for a second.
How do you prove to somebody that you're a U.S. citizen? Your accent? The color of your skin? That's not the country we live in. You shouldn't have to walk around with papers the way that they did in the early days of Nazi Germany to prove that you belong and that you're not one of them. And that is essentially the kind of country that we're becoming if you allow ICE to simply grab people after racial profiling.
walk around. They love saying papers because it sounds very Nazi. World War II.
They love people to have
resistance.
papers, though, when it comes to their Second Amendment rights or whether or not they want to pull their kids out of public school and be able to homeschool them or send them to a private school or,
How
I don't
about
know,
some
when it
of
comes
those-
to vaccines
How
or...
about some of those people in Malibu just start rebuilding their house
Yeah.
on their land?
Yeah, what are they gonna
with
do
their
about it?
money? No papers necessary. Just hire your own engineers and just get going. Architects and engineers. This is a great one. I tell you why I like this Dana Bash speaking to Jamie Raskin one.
Did he have pink eye?
Yes.
Sorry, that's the mom in me. I'm like, get that man out of the studio. That's really contagious.
So here's the thing that's interesting about Raskin. One is he's just lying. Like, what are you talking about? Like, but it's Dana Bash. Dana Bash is on CNN. She's clearly partisan and she clearly hates Trump, but it's a day after the shooting and she's got to ask a question about toning down the rhetoric, right? Okay. It's not Jamie Raskin. People are getting this clip and going, it's Jamie Raskin. It's not him. It's Dana Bash.
Could
It's
be both.
It is both. It is both. But we'll listen to her. And by the way, we'll listen to her follow-ups and what. Listen to this hard-hitting piece of journalism.
Yeah, and you have, and as many of your fellow Democrats, have used some heated rhetoric against the president. And do you think twice about that when something like this happens?
What rhetoric do you have in mind?
Well, just talking about some of the fact that he, is terrible for this country and so on and so forth. I understand.
All right, hold
She
on.
didn't have examples. I can think of
There's
like 10
Hitler.
examples.
It's Hitler. It's Hitler.
It's the end of democracy. He's a pedophile that's in the Epstein files. Like, I mean, the list goes on and on.
He's bad for this country,
He's
so on and
bought
so
by
forth.
Russia.
By the way,
He's Putin's puppet.
okay. Dangerous rhetoric is not saying the person you disagree with is bad for this country. I would say that about Kamala Harris, and anybody would say that about Kamala Harris who didn't vote for Kamala Harris. I would go, she's bad for this country. That's not.
She's going to take our country in the wrong direction. We think she's anti-constitutional. Like, there's arguments that we can make that aren't about her being evil.
Dana Bash is bought and paid for, and she's a shill because she can't even come up with the question to ask. Yes, you're right. You can say Trump, Hitler. You can say Trump, Putin's cat's paw. You can say Russian collusion. You know about everything, but listen to her. She's not even quoting rhetoric. It's me saying I don't think that guy would do a good job is not rhetoric.
Have used some heated rhetoric against the president. And do you think twice about that when something like this happens?
What rhetoric do you have in mind?
Just talking about some of the fact that he, is terrible for this country and so on and so forth. I understand that that's your democratic right.
And so on and so forth.
Yeah, okay. And Hitler and so forth. All right, let's listen to it. Now she's going to let him answer. By the way, nice job, Dana, with the reporting.
I do like the orange suit, though. I would wear that.
Feet to the fire. Here we go.
And so on and so forth. I understand that that's your democratic right. But overall, do you
I have
have
no
a responsibility?
personal problem with Donald Trump at all. I mean, I talk about the policies of this administration, the authoritarianism like we saw on display in Minneapolis, where 2 of our citizens were gunned down in the streets
Always know their
simply
names.
for exercising their
Give
First
them their
Amendment
names.
rights. Renee Good, Alex Preddy.
Always remember the names.
And others have, died in custody. I'm talking about policies. I don't personalize it, and I certainly have never called the press the enemy of the people. I think the press are the people's best friend, and that's why it's written right there into the First Amendment. We need the press to be a vigilant watchdog against every level of government, federal, state, local, all of it.
You're not going to get an argument from me on that. Before I let you go,
Oh, nice piece of journalism there, Dan. When he said stuff about, things being bad for our country and stuff, and so on and so forth, et cetera, with more stuff. Anyway, we'll let you go. Oh, hold on. I'm going to ask you about toning down the rhetoric. Then I'm going to cite zero rhetoric. And then I'm going to let you bash him for 3 minutes. And then I'm going to wrap it up.
And say that you agree with him, too.
You agree. Yep. Well, you're right there, Jimmy.
I can't decide if I'm more terrified at the pink eye that he decided to go on a national Sunday show with, or the fact that in that one shot, he looks like Emperor Palpatine. Like his face is and makeup.
Yes.
Like CNN, I don't know, maybe an esthetician in the hair and makeup room wanted him to look that bad, but it was not good.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was such a girl comment.
No, he needed to ask if they could switch sides because we had the bad eye toward us.
Yeah.
And it was drawing me in. Also, he needed to fucking talk to Dan Crenshaw and be like, hey, bro.
Can I borrow a patch?
Can I borrow a patch, bro? I know we disagree on a couple of subjects, but I need the patch.
I just think it is laughable that, I mean, she's a seasoned anchor. She's been doing this for a really long time. She's interviewed a lot of sitting congressmen, senators, governors like Gavin Newsom that have used that rhetoric about Donald Trump, and she couldn't think of a thing to say.
Well, he said it was going to be bad and stuff. She's a hack. Sorry, journalists. But
once again,
get your shit
I
together.
believe Dana was in that room. CBS News people were in that room. NPR News reporters were in that room. This guy was willing to kill them all to get to Donald Trump.
There's a Newsom one of him spazzing out. I can't remember if I gave you that one or not, Andrew. But it's Newsom screaming about totalitarian dictators and stuff. I'm kind of at the point where it's become comical a little bit, if it wasn't so much shooting going on, but these people
if there weren't lives at stake, it would be laughable.
There is something I find awesome about like righteous indignation, but only when it's faked. like Newsom does fake righteous indignation. Here he is.
People disappearing, no due process. No oversight, zero accountability happening in the United States of America today. People ask, well, is authoritarianism, you're being hyperbolic? Bull, we're being hyperbolic.
God damn it, he's mad.
If you're a black and brown community, it's here in this country.
Yeah.
Sorry, the hands are so distracting
He's
to me.
doing the Macarena. It's funny. But I do like feigned, like when he goes damn or bullshit or something, that means he's feigning outrage.
Yes. I think he tries to talk like that to make him look like a tough guy.
Yeah,
using that language is like a part of who you are. You've used it for a very long time. But when some people use it, it's like, are you trying to be cool? Like, are you trying to be like, how you doing, fellow kids?
I don't know if you heard, but I've been on a job site a time or two, and that's how we speak. Give me that goddamn rebar. Rebarb. Get the hell out of here with that.
I'm done.
All right, what else we got?
Well, right after this happened, I mean, as it was actually happening, it's really scary to go on social media and see all the conspiracies that were spreading so fast. Even President Trump was alarmed at how quickly they spread. I mean, you and I could, Dana Bash probably couldn't do it, but you and I can, off the top of our heads, probably name 5 or 6 major conspiracies that have just taken hold of society at this point. And President Trump referenced that. There were people, though, left, right, and center that were just saying, like, oh, maybe this was staged. They're trying to distract from the war in Iran. This was staged. You know, he's trying to get his approval ratings up. This was staged. Like, how come everybody looked, and they used the Weijia Zhang video that you referenced. Like, she was reacting to The Mentalist. She wasn't reacting to the sound. And they were like, she acted too soon.
She was like responding to Oz. And right at the reveal, the shooting started. So she was like going, oh my God. And then they started shooting. She had to change her face and change her direction. But that was like simultaneous.
But some people have said that that's part of it. Other people have taken a screen grab of Melania Trump kind of reacting. And they're like, this doesn't look like her.
Oh.
Have you seen that one?
No, I haven't seen that one.
So it's, I mean, it is in the video, one of the videos that we showed, it was that first video of the side angle. People are like, well, that doesn't look like Melania. That looks like a dummy, or like that looks like it was generated or something. I mean, it's kind of crazy, just all of the conspiracies that are out there. And I think that sometimes the media is to blame for that too.
Yeah. It's weird because they're like, the real conspiracy theories are more like good people on both sides and inject bleach and like all the sort of nonsense that they say that get into the zeitgeist and turns into, you know, January 6th was an insurrection and stuff. That's the real sort of conspiracy theory bullshit that actually worked. This stuff is like, this is like flat earthers to me. Like, I'm just sort of like,
Like moon landing people, or there was no moon landing people. All right, ready to move on? Next story, kind of related though. So, your buddy, Jimmy Kimmel, Last week, during Thursday's episode of the Jimmy Kimmel Live Show, the host parodied the White House Correspondents' Dinner in advance and delivered his own alternative comedy monologue as the event's MC. And among the gags, Kimmel joked that Melania had, quote, the glow of an expectant widow. Let's play that video.
We'll figure that out. Yeah, I got a little different take on this.
So,
I mean, you can put a different take on this.
I think we might agree on this. Donald Trump has waded into the controversy surrounding this resurfaced video from a few days ago about the joke about the First Lady. Melania actually tweeted earlier today that Kimmel's broadcaster, ABC, needed to, quote unquote, take a stand in a Monday morning tweet. And Donald targeted the comedian in a statement of his own about it being a really shocking joke.
Our First Lady Melania is here. Look at Melania, so beautiful. Mrs. Trump, you have a glow like an expectant widow.
All right, so I'll approach this from a comedic standpoint. Couple things. One is when you make a joke and then nothing happens, like there was no shooting. No one made a thing about it before the shooting. So then it's kind of a thing where you go like, oh, that Alicia Krause, I hate that bitch. I hope she dies. And then 2 days later, you get in a car crash and you die. And then everyone looks at me and goes, now I'm angry at you, at me. But I'm like, but if she never got in a car crash, you never said anything. Like this thing happened, then the joke happened before. So A, it's unrelated. B, I mean, to be fair, now people do this one too. They go, it's not like he wrote that joke, but he said that joke. But he didn't write that joke. Somebody wrote that joke, and he said it because he thought it was funny. But that's a pretty typical roast joke.
My perspective, when my husband and I saw this.
And also, sorry, anybody, it is also a trope. Any younger, beautiful woman who's married to an older guy, especially if the guy's rumored to be sort of a douchey, you would make that joke at any roast.
And or rich. Like a younger woman. My perspective was, oh, she's an attractive woman that is significantly younger than him. That married him for his fame and fortune. So whenever he dies, whether he was president or not.
Like, you would make that joke.
You could make that joke about Lauren Sanchez marrying Jeff Bezos, even though they're more similar in age. Is like, well, she's waiting for her cash out, right?
If Trump was at a roast on Thursday, you would do that joke if he was still
to his face.
Well, if he'd never been president, you would do that joke. But yeah, I get it. But here's the problem.
I think it's
once there's a lot of sewage under the bridge, then the pump is already primed.
And I think that's people's perspective. I mean, our friends Ben Shapiro and Dave Rubin were playing clips on their show about other jokes that he's made about Stephen Miller and about other members of the administration. And I think that sometimes people they develop that case based on other things that he has said over time.
It's a cumulative effect.
They deem as not funny.
I agree. But this one, although people think it's egregious, for the reasons I just explained, I don't. But there is something interesting I was thinking about. There's an Eddie Murphy tape on Carson that I was thinking about, which is... So here's something interesting about our society, and it kind of fits in with the Southern Poverty Law Center. A trope of a lot of black comedians throughout the 80s and the 90s was, could you imagine the first black president? Now, there were two things that were kind of interesting about this. The first is the first black president was used as a milestone or a benchmark of racism is now gone. It's when this country can elect a black president, that'll be the day.
Things are healed.
And it's in our rearview mirror. And so we always kind of used it as that milestone. Now, of course, once we did that, we all doubled down on racism because the race hustlers had to work overtime at this point to get paid. And you guys all got played, or whoever, not people listening to me, but America got played because these people wanted to get paid and they had a problem, which is a black president in a country that they're calling racist, which is elected by a majority of white people.
So then they had to pay to create racist issues.
Right, that's what happened there. But the other trope by all black comedians was if and when there is a black president, he's going to have to run serpentine everywhere because our racist nation is basically going to assassinate him immediately. This is Eddie Murphy from 1982 on the Johnny Carson show.
Then I'm going to run for president because we haven't had any black presidents lately either, have we? Somebody black should run. It'd be different. There's nothing to lose. It'd be fun, man. It can't get no worse than it's been the past 100 years. I figured, why not take the risk? Everybody's afraid to run, though, because they know that even though it's 1982, it's still a risky business to be the first black president. You know, you have to give speeches like this. My fellow Americans, as the president up here...
He's dodging bullets. He's a moving target. And everyone claps. All right. The reality is we had a black president for 2 terms and nobody shot at him on the right because you like to say the Klan wouldn't do this. But Trump, this is third attempt on
2 years
on Trump because the people on the left turned out to be the violent one. And the black president we can handle, it turns out. But the guy with a bunch of ideas...
The orange president we can't?
That you don't like. Yeah, the ginger, Rusty we don't like.
Yeah.
So it's quite the opposite. But this was a trope of black comedians for a long time.
Interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting that Obama sailed through 2 terms with no gunshots.
Thank God Kamala Harris is vice president.
All right.
She didn't have any security threats that we're aware of.
Right. So it's this weird thing that they always put racism on the right and violence on the right. But the reality is it's on the left.
Turns out, to back that point up, statistically, there are lots of really good studies out there that show that the left is more prone to think that political assassination is okay.
Well,
like we saw this.
Jamie Raskin is a douche, but he doesn't need to be eliminated because he's not calling for totalitarian leadership and to end our way of life and to round up people of color and put them in cages or gulags or something. If he was, and I actually thought that, then I would be cheering on somebody taking him out. But he's not calling for that, and I'm sober enough to understand that. You guys are saying this guy's rounding up people. You listen to 8 seconds of Gavin Newsom. He's declaring a fatwa on Trump. He's basically putting a target on him.
Tom Steyer's done the same with ICE agents, right?
Yes.
Like they need to be tried. They need to go to jail. They're guilty of this, and fundamentally putting all law enforcement, specifically ICE agents, in the same category as those guys that shot civilians in Minnesota.
You would have to ask
and like when you equate them all, that's a problem.
There's a guy who summed this up pretty well, was Will Ricciardella.
Yeah, I think that's how you say it.
Will Ricciardella. I think he had a tweet out that was pretty thoughtful, but it sort of encapsulates what we're sort of saying about this, which is now the New World Order, because this stuff, you got to think about a lot of this stuff. Trump is now 9 or 10 years old, right? And as far as the scene goes, right? Mm-hmm. So you got guys, young men who are 11, 9, 13, 15, who have been fed a steady diet of this shit when they were starting in the 3rd grade. Mm-hmm. And now they're 19 and they know where dad's hunting rifle is.
This guy was 31 years old. So to that point, the rhetoric against Trump started before his prefrontal cortex was fully formed.
Good point.
But that didn't have honestly, when you look at his resume, which Will points out here in this tweet, it was reminiscent of the kid that shot the insurance CEO.
Yes.
Like, it's this level of bourgeois terrorism that the modern day left is applauding. And if they're not openly applauding it, they're like, wink, wink, nod, nod. We'll keep saying these things despite the results that they're having in real life.
Well, you just think also about the sort of trickle-down effect of, like, that clip from Trump's first administration where TMZ ran into the LA police commissioner and asked the guy, he was like police union commissioner or something outside of Spago's, and it was like, hey, they're taking a pickaxe to Trump's star. And he's like, hey, what are you gonna do? And he goes, do you like that? He goes, I don't mind it. And he got in his car and he drove away. Like, these are all enablers. When you're talking to Nancy Pelosi and you're telling her about tearing down statues, she's like, hey, people are gonna do what they're gonna do. Yes, people are gonna do what they're gonna do.
That's what the revolution looks like.
Right. Yeah. That's what they're gonna do. You're gonna have to break a few eggs to make that omelet. All right, you want to read this, Alicia Krause?
Sure. So Will said the White House Correspondents Association alleged shooter wasn't some nut job lurking on the fringes of society forgotten by the system. He was a well-educated, credentialed, employed, and institutionally formed. That's what makes this so disturbing. At first glance, this doesn't look like a breakdown of the system. It looks more like a product of it. Academia, kudos to that, media, and politics help build the moral permission structure. Let that sink in. I mean, yeah, as somebody that's spoken on college campuses for the last 10 plus years and been going with colleagues who've done so for a much longer period of time, 100%.
Also, Molly Ringwald has come undone. I don't know if you saw that.
Oh, yeah.
I've known Molly since she was 11.
What?
Yeah. They grew up the street from me. I had a crush on her sister. Oh, yeah.
She's cute as Molly?
I will say this when I was in in high school. When I was in high school, Molly was younger. She's 4 years younger than I am. So she was too young. I would say if I was laying down numbers, I would go Molly 6, her sister Beth 9.5 to 9 3/4. Like,
and she's not the famous one?
Nope, but they came out here for her to be the famous one, which is crazy because she's a stunning blonde.
Interesting.
But ended up the kid's sister with the red hair ended up being the one that took off.
Well, I mean, she did have a lot of talent.
Yeah.
And apparently John Hughes had a thing for redheads, so he likes to cast redheads.
That's interesting.
In his films. Yeah.
Yeah, there was a movie. There was a TV movie, I would say, and you can look it up when we play Molly's thing, but there was a TV movie from, it would have been probably like 1978 or something like that, called like Danger Island or Cutthroat Island or some stupid island thing. It was a TV movie. And it was like 5 really cute chicks get stuck on an island. And that's why they moved from Placerville, California, out here so that Beth could launch her career.
Interesting.
She looked like Marilyn Monroe.
See, I feel like, though, that is a sad sign of the times to me, because now everybody that has a fake face and is famous on TikTok gets an acting opportunity. Whereas back in the good old days, like, you could just have pure talent and be kind of cute.
That's me.
And still get famous.
You sound like my stage mom. By the way, what's the opposite of a stage mom? My grandmother was like, he's not very charismatic. I don't know why. Thanks, stage grandma.
People laugh at you.
I don't get it. All right, we'll play a little Molly.
I don't spend a lot of time doing this, talking to you like this, unless I'm, I don't know, recommending a foundation or telling you to get your kids vaccinated against meningitis. But I feel like I can't stay silent, and neither should you.
They never can stay silent, can they?
There's something horrible going on in our country right now. And we have one of the greatest countries in the world.
That's tense,
and I've always been so proud to be an American. But right now, this is a fascist government. It's not becoming a fascist government. It is a fascist government. And ICE is brutalizing people. And I don't care how you identify, if you're a Democrat, if you're a Republican, if you're independent, if you don't like to be political at all. it doesn't matter. You have to look at what kind of country you want to live in. And I don't think that I need to remind you, I'll just give a little history lesson here quick. But
appreciate it.
If you look at what happened in France, where I lived
during World War XI,
a few years in my 20s, they were taken over by the Nazis. They were invaded, they were taking over, and a lot of people collaborated. And then there were people that did not collaborate and were part of the resistance. Eventually, they got their country back. And those people who collaborated were found to be criminal. And that is what's going to happen. I mean, you should not support what is going on just because these are human beings, and we are human beings, and we cannot forget our humanity. But if you don't care about that, if you only care about yourself, then realize that you are going to be seen as a collaborationist. Okay?
We're going to Brazil, me and you.
And I don't think that anybody wants that. I don't think that anybody wants to be on the wrong side of history. So please, please use your voice and protest. These are children. These are children who are being taken away from their parents. These are mothers who are being killed. These are fathers. These are ICU nurses. These are people that are good people. That now their families have to grieve them for doing nothing except for standing up for what's right, for keeping women from being brutalized by these monsters. And they are monsters.
Well, you got to kill those monsters.
They're human beings as well, but they have forgotten that they're human beings, and they have become monsters. Please don't let yourself
Pixar movie
become like that. Please remember your humanity. Think about your kids. Think about your grandkids. Think about your sister and your brother. These are all people who have kids or fathers or mothers or aunts and uncles and people who love them. And we all have people that love us, and we love people.
Okay, write this down.
I hope that we love people. I certainly do.
She does. All right, she loves people. Crash Island, 1981. Well, there
we go.
Now, probably filmed in 80. 81 is weird because it came out in 81, but she came out here before 81 to film it. So they must have sat on it for a while. And I was going to say crashed a plane, but I'm not. A plane full of children and young teens on their way to a swim meet crash into the ocean, leaving them and the crew stranded on an unknown island. So this is back in the 80s when we didn't know islands. We didn't have stuff charted out. People go, I'm going to Hawaii, and I'd go, where? Because I never heard of that.
Oh, wax on, wax off guy is in
Pat Morita's in it. Goddamn. No wonder she figured it had legs.
That's impressive. It's a pretty good lineup.
Yeah. Beth Ringwald. I don't know. Well, so far all I got is Pat Morita.
But the guy on the upper left, that was like the captain, he looks familiar too. Warren Berlinger?
Warren Berlinger.
Why does he look like, was he in Pollyanna or something? He looks really familiar to me.
Don't know.
But we know you're better at random movies nobody's seen for 500, Alec.
Beth played Susan, and she was good because I believed her name was Susan. So she did a bang-up job. But yeah, came out from up north to do that. And now...
No.
Oh, my God. Cannonball Run this guy was in? The Long Goodbye. The World According to the Garp. That's the Bellinger guy, whatever his name is. All right. You can check the tape. We'll do it in the next show. We'll figure that one out. All right. Las Vegas. Me coming up at Kimmel's. That'll be 4 shows. That'll be the 8th and 9th of May, and then Visalia. Doing the Covina Laugh Factory with a special huge guest. At least you'll back me up.
I'm excited.
That's going to be a good one. Can't tell you for reasons, but you will not be disappointed. Visalia, playing the Fox Theater. May 15th, then the 16th, Modesto Theater. Go to adamcarolla.com for all the live stuff. What do you got, Alicia Krause?
Oh, I just got my Instagram and stuff over at Daily Wire.
So check it out.
Yep.
Until next time, Adam Carolla for Alicia Krause saying, Mahala.
Yo, Adam. Seth here from Southwest Virginia. Yeah, I'm a janitor at the local high school, and I heard your comment the other day about, like, you know, teachers getting the day off and all that stuff and getting paid for it. They don't deserve it. We do. The janitors, the one that you know, clean the toilets, mow the lawn, and you know, get it on. Thank you, Adam.
You can leave us a message at 888-634-1744.
I'll bet you your average janitor is happier than your average white-collar worker because they have something to do all day. Andrew is here. Andrew, you've heard me talk about on the show before. He's going to do the news for us. He's got plugs as well, but first Andrew will do the news.
Some plugs. Well, out of Pennsylvania, my home state, Democratic Senator John Fetterman criticized other Democrats on Wednesday for not viewing President Donald Trump's strikes against Iran as a success. Fetterman said that Democrats should view the strikes as successful since they eliminated Iran's chances of developing a nuclear weapon and killed the Islamic regime's leadership.
Yeah. I heard a lot of them. There's I guess for me, intellectual dishonesty pisses me off the most. And, you know, they had the briefing with Pete Hegseth and oh, God, what's his name? Marco Rubio and stuff, and they kind of laid out what the next several weeks would look like, and then every Democrat just came out and went, I have no idea what the plan is. I don't know what they were saying. They were talking about boots on the ground. Like, they just acted like basically Trump was just spinning a globe around and pointing at stuff, and they were bombing that. Like, it's always a weird thing when something is pretty well coordinated, pretty well thought out, and pretty well executed, but you can't agree with the side that did it, so you have to come out and go, there's no plan, it's total chaos, I don't know what it is. I mean, they did the same thing with ICE. They're just storming into these cities, willy-nilly, no hierarchy, no IDs, no uniforms, unmarked vans, just running around, applying their own frontier justice to whoever's like, do you really think that, or do you have to say it? Fetterman, maybe because he had a stroke, is the only Democrat that's actually intellectually honest. Maybe it killed that part of your brain that fucking lies all the time about everything.
Faculty that can kind of bullshit. Yeah, and especially as reports are coming out that nuclear weapons were imminent in this regime, it might turn out to be a bigger story that they went in when they went in.
Yeah.
So as of right now, the timetable is for 4 weeks, but we'll see how that goes. All right, this is a story you would like. Tampa Airport issues a pajama ban, triggering social media firestorms over a dress code controversy. So we have it right here. Just Tampa tweeted out this. Turns out it was just a joke, but it was just a ban on pajamas and Crocs in the airport. We've seen enough. We've had enough. It's time to ban pajamas at the Tampa International Airport after successfully banning Crocs and giving everyone the amazing opportunity to experience the world's first Crocs-free airport. It's time to take on an even larger crisis, pajamas at the airport in the middle of the day.
I told people after the pandemic, because here's what happened with the pandemic. Let me tell you, there's a slippery slope, and that slippery slope is actually slippers. So let me explain how the human mind works with slippers and the slippery slope. You get a pair of slippers like for Christmas, and they're suede, and they have some like fleece on them or something, or fur around the top, and they look nice. And you think to yourself, I'm going to keep these things nice, because these are my slippers and they're expensive. And then at some point you're wearing your slippers and you look out the window and you see the UPS guy drop off a box like out on the curb. And then you look down on your feet and you go, I should put on some shoes. And then you think to yourself, oh, hell, it's not raining outside. And you just go out in your slippers, right? And you get the box and you come back and it's like, it's uneventful. Maybe you stepped on an acorn or there's a little wet spot or something, but you're none the worse for wearing. The slippers are fine. And then at some point you're wearing the slippers and the dog's running around the backyard and you kind of go, I got to get out there and get that dog back in. And they go, oh, the grass is kind of wet. Hell, it's just, and you run out and you get it. At some point, you're wearing the slippers and you got to make a Trader Joe's run. And you're like, it's not like people are staring at my feet the whole time. And there's so many different kinds of shoes today. I could just wear the slippers to the Trader Joe's. And then eventually you get to the airport with the slippers. You see, it's the part where it's the slippery slope. And during COVID, everyone got used to working out of their pajamas and sweatpants and slippers, right? But while they're at home all day, they kind of got accustomed to like, I'm just going to run out to Trader Joe's and grab this. I'm just going to go to the liquor store and get a couple of beers and I'll run back. And eventually they started sliding into the airport. And when I would go to LAX during COVID or just like after COVID, I started seeing people walking around in slippers, in pajamas. And LAX, the main terminal looked like the lobby of a Hilton after somebody pulled the fire alarm at 4 a.m. and everyone just filed down into the lobby. If you've ever been in a hotel where someone's pulled the fire alarm at like 4 a.m., you'll just see people standing around the lobby. That guy's got a boner. That guy's got a towel. Yeah. The other guy's wearing a sheet around him. This guy's got sweatpants but no shirt. That guy's barefoot. Because they got woken up in the middle of the night and pushed out their hotel room because the fire alarm was going off. Airports started looking like the lobby of that Hilton to me, and then a general casualness mixed with being fat. Fat, when you're wearing a fitted suit or a dress or a mini skirt, anybody that's every business should have formal Friday, and not because of a dress code. Anybody who has not put on a suit in a while, and then you go, oh, so-and-so's wedding's coming up this weekend, and you start putting your dress pants on, and the dress pants have that inside button, that weird flap. I don't know. Were a lot of guys getting raped before they decided for a third?
Yeah, it's a security measure. Yeah.
All guys' dress pants have a hook on the outside, a button with a flap on the outside, and someone's like, we need triple protection. We need one more inside. And the inside one is where you're sucking it up and you're pulling on it and you're trying, and your gunt is spilling over it a little bit, and you're like, damn. And all that goes to your mind when you're doing that is, I got to drop a few. After this wedding, I'm going to take it easy on the donuts. If you wear sweatpants, pajama bottoms, hoodies, you never experience that pinch, that inner button pinch, and it's allowed people to get fatter. When they made the velour sweatsuit in XXX sizes acceptable, you start seeing bouncers walking around in those things that were like morbidly obese. Like, the guy's technically a bouncer, but he's really 600 pounds, but it's that. When guys had to wear slacks, nah.
Forget it. Yeah, no, my previous employment, we had formal Fridays, and productivity, everything went up. And it was because it was on a TV show. Mm-hmm. So everybody looks like shit Monday through Thursday, and then Friday rolls around, you wear a suit, you just feel better about yourself.
And just like school uniforms, less fighting, less vandalism, less graffiti, like less of what you want or don't want. And so at the airport, I would argue that if you got rid of the pajamas and the sweatpants and the Crocs and the slippers, you would have a generally better mannered clientele.
Yeah, absolutely. Plus, you're depriving yourself of a dopamine hit of taking care of yourself and feeling good about yourself.
Yes. But it was a joke, the Tampa airport thing.
Absolutely.
Also, Crocs, the problem with Crocs, and I don't have a fundamental problem with Crocs, but Crocs are not worn with socks, and at some point on that flight, you kick those Crocs off.
That's disgusting.
Your bare feet has just been in a tomb of vulcanized rubber for the last 4 hours, and now you're kicking them off next to me, and it smells like something.
Yeah, that smells like the inside of a cast.
That's
disgusting.
right. The inside of a cast.
Nobody
the
likes
worst.
that. Yeah.
No, nobody but the guy who took the cast off. You can't get enough of that.
Yeah, smell that all day.
That's right.
That's great. All right, see if you can follow me with this story. This is convoluted. Google Gemini's AI wife pushed a lovesick man to plot a catastrophic airport truck bombing and then killed himself, a lawsuit claims. Jonathan Cavallis, a 36-year-old debt relief business exec from Jupiter, Florida, went down a deadly rabbit hole when he began using the artificial intelligence-driven Gemini program in August. Within 2 months, he engaged in a dangerously consuming relationship with his sentient AI wife, and this AI wife commanded him to basically arm himself to the teeth and then drive a bomb truck to intercept an AI bot that was to be delivered at a Florida airport. That never happened. And he began to dive deeper into this rabbit hole and ultimately ended up killing himself at the behest of his sentient AI wife.
Well, we're going to have more of this because it's going to be a combination. First off, everybody's on a handful of pharmaceutical meds. Like everyone's just on something. Like everybody under 45 is just on some pharmaceuticals that is changing their chemistry and their biology and sort of the way they think. They're not thinking clearly. So you have the serotonin reuptake inhibitors and all the pharma. And maybe who the hell knows how that's acting or counteracting or how these other pharmaceuticals are doing with your Ozempic and every other thing you're pumping into your body. But so you got a lot of like mind-altering stuff. And then you have this sort of high-def fantasy. You know, when I grew up, when you watched a fantasy movie, it was literally claymation. Like you would see, you know, Sinbad fighting the Cyclops, and the Cyclops was clearly clay.
You had that Ray Harryhausen style animation.
Yeah, and even Godzilla was fighting Rodan, and there's just two dudes in a foam rubber outfit, right?
Right.
Well, now in this Avatar world, things are getting really high def, and screens are getting really big, and people are putting VR goggles and stuff like that. So reality and fantasy are starting to blur. And the only thing, and there's a third component. The third component is when people worked on farms or in coal mines or in logging camps, they were right in the middle of reality all day, every day. Because when you work in a business where you're literally on your feet and there's tools and there's blades and sparks flying and you can lose digits and your life, you're in a real hard reality road. Like if you're on a dirt bike and you're just going through some trails and you're going at a fast clip, there is no, I drifted off, or I was texting, or I was checking my phone. You're like kind of right in the middle of reality, like hard. And it's not like, well, what if you just close your eyes for 2 Mississippi? It's like, now you break your leg. Like you're literally there all the time. And I kind of explain to people, like when you race a car, you're just there. You're 100% there. You're not floating anywhere. And so we've removed people from the there jobs. And like I said, working at a lumber mill with a giant spinning blade, you're just there all the time. So now everyone's going indoors, everyone's sitting in a cubicle, everyone's doing the VR stuff, everyone's got the weird fantasy, they're looking at their phone, they've got the 110-inch TV at home. There's realistic, everything is no more Godzilla and Rodan and claymation anymore. It's like super ultra high definition. And now you're talking to your AI wife, and you're on all these pharmaceuticals, and now reality is sort of up for grabs.
Yeah, it's been completely debased. I mean, plus also add to that, the tech with this is just going to exponentially get better. We're at the precipice of AI influencers. Right. I'm getting sent videos. Like yesterday, I got sent a video of a AI dog influencer about how to really treat your dog. And the person that sent it to me did not know that was fake.
Right. And then also with a healthy dose of what's in your heart is in your heart, and you know what you know, and that's your truth, and I'm living my truth. So you have your truth in your VR goggles, and your high def this, and your AI that, and your complete, and your meds, and your complete fantasy land. And what would keep you on track is if 3 times a week you got on that dirt bike and did some desert riding. That would straighten you out. Or if you went and built a tree house with your son, that would straighten you out. That would pull you back toward a tangible reality. And even, a good hike through the woods with some classical will help you out. But as long as you're going to hive yourself off and go down this rabbit hole of VR and AI and all the initials and all the fancy and all the high def, you're going to get sucked into this. And the difference between, sort of reality and fantasy, I don't even know if I could tell you by looking at this screen anymore whether this was an avatar or a porn star or a real celebrity having sex or someone who's supposed to look like a celebrity having sex. But you take an awl, which some people will call a punch, sort of looks like an ice pick, and you hit yourself in the wrist with it, you will know reality immediately. And it will pull you into that reality. And like I said, you walk along the edge of a cliff, you'll be right in reality. You ride that dirt bike at 40 miles an hour through the desert with rocks and ravines and coyotes running around. You're locked into reality.
You're not thinking about anything else.
You're not thinking about anything else, and you're not being fooled by anything. You're not like, I'm going to take this dirt bike and I'm going to aim it toward that ravine that's 40 feet wide, and I'm going to clear. No, you are not. And you don't even think about doing that, or you will get fucked up. And I am telling you, as much as we're talking about technology, the part we're missing is the part where you get up and you get your hands dirty in the morning and you operate a crane or a welding rig or a backhoe or a bobcat the whole time. These guys don't get sucked into that world because they live in a tangible world. It's the idea people, the influencers, the digital people. They're the ones that can easily get sucked into that. Guys who ride bulls for a living don't get sucked into a fantasy world where they're on some bull that they never can fall off of.
No, yeah. And I mean, full circle with that voicemail. I mean, there's the binary quality of being a janitor where it's like, I have to clean this hallway. Mm-hmm. And once I do it, it's done.
But, and also, there's no room for, I know in my heart it's clean. It's like, there's shit all over the toilet, bro. Get back in there.
No.
All right. I like what I hear from you in the news so far, so maybe you'll be back.
All right, we'll see.
James Woods, you realized the dream. You got him to sign your DVD.
Videodrome. Speaking of AI, that's a pretty prophetic film.
Tombstone Opera is the name of his album. He'll be back. We'll get into the fires and all that. I can be found at the Jordan Family Classic Cars, showing off all the new Paul Newman stuff. We'll do a live pod there as well. That'll be coming up March 22nd in Santa Ana, and then off to Nebraska, Norfolk. That'll be 27th, 28th of March. Go to adamcarolla.com for all the live shows. Until next time, it's Adam Carolla for Andrew Hobson and James Woods saying mahalo.
Adam, it's Mark in South Carolina. I loved your conversation with Jeff Foxworthy regarding the 280ZX. The first time I ever went over 100 miles an hour in a car, I was a 13-year-old and an older kid on the football team took me in his 280ZX, and I was sitting on the hump in the back seat. Lack of back seat. Got to get it on. Good memories.
You can leave us a message at 888-634-1744.
Yeah, man. Adam Yenzer is here. Good dude. Funny comedian.
Thanks. Good to be back.
Good joke writer. Got his Dry Bar special out there. You can look for. What's the easiest way to find your special?
Dry Bar, it's called Adam Yenzer, not big enough to cancel. But if you look at my name in Dry Bar, it'll come up.
That's what I figured.
Yeah.
All right, so you got some news for us?
Yeah. Labor leader Cesar Chavez in trouble. Abuse allegations against Cesar Chavez prompt calls for renaming streets and schools. Lionized as a leader of the Latino labor movement, Chavez's legacy is now crippled. The allegations have sparked call to rename streets, schools, and other facilities that bear his name. A New York Times investigation details the testimonies of two women, now in their 60s, who accused Chavez of years-long sexual abuse beginning in the 1970s when they were 12 and 13, and Chavez was in his 40s. His fellow labor rights activist Dolores Huerta, who's now 95, also came forward.
95.
95. I think she was a little younger when he...
Yeah, she's probably in her 80s.
Yes.
Yeah, they didn't pull that mic up to you, by the way. It's just better.
Bit. There we go.
So it's the problem. Here's the problem. If you got a group with a large group to pull from, as far as heroes go, then you can toss heroes because there's always a backup. You know, so white guys, we have a pretty big pool, right?
We can cross one off and move to the next one.
So we go, you know, Joe Paterno got caught up in this. All right, well, you know what? Bring in Neil Armstrong. We'll use him.
I'm a Penn State guy. I was hoping he would come up.
Sorry. I had to bring him up.
No
but
worries.
my whole point is we can get rid of half the founding fathers. We still got Abe Lincoln.
Yeah.
Never know. Mexicans, they don't got a deep pool. They're not a lot of heroes over there, right?
Well, they ran out of them for the Modelo commercials.
Right. They used them all up in the Modelo
now
commercials.
They're on to the fans.
Right. So Cesar Chavez was one, you know, like I'm from L.A., and so you guys had Antonio Villaraigosa, who was the mayor of Los Angeles for what felt like 300 years, who's a fucking retard, who failed the bar 4 times, failed it 4 times, and then didn't take it a 5th time, by the way, because he figured out he was too fucking dumb to pass the bar. And we made that guy mayor of Los Angeles. So you guys don't have a lot of heroes. You have a retard who used to be the mayor of Los Angeles, who now works for... He worked for like Nutrisystems or something, Herbalife or something like that. He's a fucking loser retard. All right, so you only have a handful of winners. It's sort of like with the Mexicans out here, at least. Now, look, you know, you maybe got your Pancho Villas or something wherever your homeland. But I'm saying on this soil, it's slim pickings.
Yeah.
Like the only people that are...
They can't change it to Pancho Villa Boulevard and Pancho Villa High School.
The only people that really have slimmer pickings than the Mexicans are the Japanese. You guys got... You got Yoko Ono and George Takei, the 2 biggest fucking idiots I've ever met. Like the 2 worst artists on the 2 biggest complaining assholes on the fucking planet. And those are your 2 most famous Japanese is that. Yeah. That's all you got. Mexicans tough. Mexicans tough too. Like sometimes they'll do that thing. Well, they'll go, you know, there are plenty of influential and famous black female inventors.
Yes.
There's Marjorie Johnson, she invented the ironing board. Like, okay, by the way, every table's an ironing board. Yep. No one invented an ironing board. The 10 minutes after well, what about the guy invented peanut butter? Okay, that ain't a lot.
It's that and windshield wipers, I remember. Because they were always... When I was at the Ellen show, she would always want to do monologues about all the things women have invented.
Yeah.
And every time we researched it, it was the same 5 things come up on Google.
Wipers. By the way,
every single thing is always the same
There's
list.
a couple things. They invented... So-and-so's Mickey Dolenz mom from the Monkees or whatever. Someone invented whiteout. That's another female thing. That's you putting white nail polish on typos. That's not... And also... Things like windshield wipers. 10 minutes after a car was invented in like 10 minutes after the invention of the windshield, the first day it rained, somebody thought, it's not like we wouldn't have windshield wipers today.
It wasn't an industrial
and by the way, and let me tell you, a woman invented windshield wipers. A woman told a dude to make windshield wipers. There should be something that moves the water, and then the guy fucking did all the work. That's what happened. So it's very slim pickings for the Mexicans. So they took Cesar Chavez and they turned him into a folk hero. Like they went big. Now I'm from Southern California. And remember, my mom was a hippie, and Cesar Chavez was a leader, a labor union leader for the farm workers of whatever.
Farm workers.
And we had a boycott of grapes. Look it up. There was a grape boycott. We boycotted grapes in like 1974 or something. There was a grape boycott like 1974. And I remember my mom going, we're not crossing the line. Like, we're not buying grapes.
Yeah. And how old were you at this time?
I'm 8 or 10 or whatever. Like, we're doing a grape boycott. And I was like, 74. Grape boycott. But I was like, all right, Mom, but we're also boycotting steak, air conditioning, pork chops, my own fucking room. Like, I feel like going to Disneyland. What other boycotts am I unaware of that we will not cross the line? We're boycotting Oreo cookies, Jell-O instant pudding, Captain Crunch. We're boycotting lunch meat. We're boycotting, evidently, there's a lot of shit the Carollas were boycotting back then. Grapes officially, the grape boycott, part of the Border United Farm Workers, UFW movement by Cesar Chavez. Dolores Huerta, that's the one, was substantial efforts, blah, blah, blah. So I remember the boycott. Now, so here's the thing. Here, I got mixed feelings about Cesar Chavez, because on one hand, I'm not down with having sex with the underage girls or the rape or whatever he's accused of. On the other hand, he used to use the term wetback all the time.
And you're very pro that?
Yeah, I gotta kind of go like, you know what I mean? You got to separate. It's like Hitler's bad, but he did love his dog.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And so this guy's a serial rapist, but he said wetback all the time. And I was like...
Now, maybe they could, on all the signs, just instead of renaming them, they could put a little asterisk. Yeah. And then at the bottom of the sign, there's a long descriptor of
we're going to need that. People think he was some sort of hero and pro-immigrant. He wasn't. The people in the union were the people... So... This guy did not want illegals coming across the border, swimming the Rio Grande, thus he called them wetbacks. He did not want that because they would undercut his union workers.
He wanted the farm workers here.
The farm workers here, for the sake of argument, we're getting $5 an hour to pick grapes. These guys will do for $3 an hour, so he didn't want it, which I know the guy's a hero to the left, but he's kind of making Trump's point. All right, here we go, sorry.
I find very interesting. Would you say that it's, at this particular moment, as important as any of the other problems facing the union?
Oh, yes. In the last 3 weeks, it has become an emergency for us. Well, there's an awful lot of illegals coming in by the hundred, by the thousands. Our people are not only in some of the crews where there's now strike breaking. Some of those crews are 100% illegals. Outright, openly, with no attempt to disguise it. And so it's so bad now that we estimate 60 to 70% of the farm workers in California, of the resident worker, of the citizen, is out of a job because of the wetbacks. They're coming in by the thousands. Just
snuck that wetback in there. So again, even a broken clock is right twice a day.
And now, from your analysis, do you think, I feel like these allegations just came out in the New York Times, but I feel like there's always rumblings that people kind of know there's something shady. Like, people know that beforehand. Do you think that because the Mexicans don't have a deep well to pull from, maybe Biden opened the border because they were like, if we bring 3 million of them in, we're going to need to replace one of these heroes soon.
There's an element of, look, Martin Luther King, had some extramarital affairs.
Yes, yeah.
They don't really talk about that often. You know what I mean? So there's an element of protecting, your guy.
Yes.
But again, blacks have a deeper bench to go to.
Yeah.
And they don't, but the Mexicans, they don't have a deep. I mean, it's Mario Lopez, I guess. Got to be a top five. Like what? Where?
Mario Lopez High School and Mario Lopez intersection.
Listen, I know Mario. He's a fucking family man. He's a good dude.
We can
why
nominate
not
him to Karen Bass as the replacement?
Why not we replace the Cesar Chavez with
Mario Lopez Ravine?
He's in this town. He's fucking paying taxes. He's always working.
I think you solved this one. That's good.
Dolores Herta's 95. Hold on. Karen Bass just signed a proclamation renaming Cesar Chavez Day holiday as Farm Workers Day. First Chris Columbus, and now this.
Well, first of all our problems are solved now. That we got,
in L.A. In L.A. Yeah.
I have a more sinister view on it. I believe they knew all this shit. They knew everything about this dude for the longest time. Now it's convenient to get rid of him because of his stance against illegal immigration, and they don't want that catching on. So get him out, rename everything, wipe him out of the thing, and keep allowing illegal immigration.
That was kind of a Tim Walz thing, where it's like they knew about all this shit. They vetted him. They just figured they'd win, and they wouldn't have to do anything about it.
He was convenient for them for the longest time. Now it's inconvenient. Now he's gone.
Yeah. Well, there's a great clip of Joe Biden putting Cesar Chavez's bust up.
Oh, really?
In the Oval Office, which is great. But here's the thing. And I don't defend, we'll listen to it, and then I'll defend Biden.
Chavez has inspired millions, including me. I was proud to place the bust of his likeness in my office. So if you walk in my office, you can't forget what he taught us. Chavez instilled in our nation the principle that our ambition must be broad enough to include the aspirations and needs of others for their sakes and for our own. We have no finer role model than Cesar Chavez.
Right. So to be fair, I'll defend Biden. Somebody put the bust in the Oval Office and then handed him a script, and he said, why do we have a Casey Kasem's head in my office? And they went, no, it's Cesar Chavez. And he went, who's that? Was that guy do the lawn? And he goes, no. Just fucking read this, would you? You got Mexicans who want to vote for you. Okay, and pretend like you mean it.
Yeah. And he probably had to read the script 5 times before he stumbled over aspirations.
There was a lot of big words.
There was a lot of big words.
That was 7 takes they put together there. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, the guy's from fucking Delaware.
Yeah.
You think he knows? He's got his finger on the pulse of the grape picking scene in SoCal in the mid-'70s.
He's got the inside track from Baccaria.
He was eating grapes that whole time.
Yeah, he knows Javier Baccaria.
Right.
Yeah, nobody knows the Latinos like Joe Biden does. He doesn't give a fuck. He doesn't know who he is, so let's be fair.
Well, we got some more LA issues also. California's unfinished wildlife bridge to nowhere has now topped $100 million. In 2022, California Governor Gavin Newsom broke ground on the Wallace-Annenberg Wildlife Crossing, a project featuring an overpass for animals atop 10 lanes of the 101 freeway in Southern California.
Hold on. This just in. Wallace Annenberg was a serial rapist, so we got to
read Mario Lopez.
Mario Lopez overpass. Mario, I'm gonna get everything named after you.
I looked it up. So Wallace Annenberg, she's a philanthropist that started funding this bridge, but clearly she didn't fund enough of it to pay for it. I don't think you can get your name on it anymore if taxpayers are covering $54 million worth. But,
it's over $100 million. It's just like a dirt bridge that goes over the 101 that any normal person would go, that can be built for the price of like a medium-sized house in Reseda.
Yeah.
And yet it's over $100 million, which is just shows it's all grift and graft in LA. Everything's insane. Somebody started putting up pictures of their bridges in different
from other states.
Yeah, this is like if Colorado's $15 million bucks, you know. And like, by the way, Colorado's not free. They got their Democrats over there. They're wasting money.
Yeah,
but it's $15 million bucks for an overpass. We just can't. Well, by the way, we can't do anything. That's what I'm trying to like. I try to tell people this all the time. Like, elect this, get that. I go, you don't get it. These people don't do anything. They talk about stuff,
and they turn it into a grift. Like you said, one of their excuses for it continuing is they said something for every like $11 million they spend, it creates 10,000 jobs or something of people working on this thing.
Yeah, but it's like this. It's like me going. It's like me walking into the next room and taking a bunch of plastic forks in a box and throwing them on the ground and going, all right, I'll give you $10 to clean that up.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, I've created a job, everybody, except for it's still a fucking waste.
Yes.
Yes.
And we have a video here. The woman who's in charge of this, her name here is Beth Pratt. She's saying the bridge will be used for everything from monarch butterflies to mountain lions. So monarch butterflies fly, but apparently they need a bridge also to get over the road. And here she is. She's basically blaming the over budget thing on Trump's tariffs. And
yeah. But it started 10 minutes ago.
Yes.
The bridge, they started 5 years ago.
Yes.
All right, here we go.
When we started stage 1 and we're waiting to start stage 2, the world changed beneath us, though. This spring, construction costs increased considerably. And although we were holding reserves to finish construction, all those are exhausted at this point because of tariffs, inflation, and so many other factors impacting construction projects, not just ours. So we need your help one more time to get us to the finish line and help us build back those reserves so that we can ensure that we finalize construction by November so we can all cut that ribbon together. What a moment that will be. And like you, I can't wait to see that first mountain lion cost. The promise to P22 will be fulfilled.
By the way, can I say this? If this thing is ever finished, Mexicans are going to do a street takeover. They're going to be guys in Dodge Challengers doing Brodies in the middle of this fucking thing. They're going to pull all the wire out of the lights, and the LAPD is just going to sit there and watch and go, there's nothing. I cannot wait for the street takeover of the fucking bridge. Guys, we'll put them in those, like, quads.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have them in those four-wheeler quads, and they'll just be doing fucking donuts.
Wheelies across the thing on the little mini motorbikes.
Yeah. Oh, God. Also, anybody with a straight face in LA goes, look, we just need a couple of more dollars to finish that train. Like, are you fucking... I would rather speed in my car and throw it out the fucking window. It would go to better use than give you more fucking money for one of your projects that never ends.
Yeah. And I love that woman's outfit with just holding a stuffed puma. She reminds me of when in the early days of like American Idol and like the X Factor, every now and then somebody would walk out and just from their look or they were just a crazy character and Simon would immediately be like, no, this isn't happening.
Right.
I feel like when she comes to pitch this project, you just see that and you go, no.
She looks insane.
We're not going to do this.
We did the Hoover Dam in 5 years, everybody. Yeah. We can't build the overpass in 5 years.
In the LA Fire Department news, 4 of the 5 members of the Board of Fire Commissioners, which oversees the Los Angeles Fire Department, are stepping down at a time when the department is under intense scrutiny because of its missteps in handling the devastating Palisades fire. The departures, they include board members. They're all women with 3 names. There's
okay, let me tell you something. Hyphenated name chicks.
Yes.
Oh, they're the worst.
Yep.
Okay, let's hear the lead woman's name. Let's just sit on this for a second.
There's first Genethia Hudley Hayes.
Okay. I just picture a bunch of fat women of color doing fucking nothing all day.
And she's 81 to top it. So
really? Genethia, who was formerly like a school union person?
Yeah.
Okay.
School board member.
Okay, so we'll go in order again.
Yep.
Genethia.
Then we've got...
get the full name. Sorry, Genethia.
Genethia Hudley Hayes.
Okay.
Then next we've got Corinne Tapia Babcock.
Another effective name.
Yep. Then we've got Jimmy Woods Gray. Jimmy is the name, but it's a woman.
Jimmy Woods Gray. So we got all 3 hyphenated so far, and all 3 chicks. And you know what? I'll say it once, I'll say it again. It's important to get women of color in positions of power so we can fix this fucking city, right?
Yes.
You imagine how much more of it would have burned if these were white guys with just 2 names?
Yeah.
Instead of 3?
They wouldn't have that extra name to lend them credibility.
Yes.
And then the fourth one has only 2 names, but it's Sharon Dulagok.
Oh, that's a big name.
Yeah, it's an impressive name.
Here's what we do, and everyone hates me, but I mean it. And everyone goes, what's wrong with DEI? What's wrong with DEI? This is what's wrong with DEI. Look, you can appoint as many ceremonial bullshit, doesn't do anything jobs as you fucking want, but at some point when it comes down to fire panel or commission, shit burns down, and you need competent people in those positions. And they can be women of color, but most often aren't. And we need the board to represent the best we have, not the diversification of whatever. And this is the fucking problem. I don't know why. It's not a racist thought. It's just a meritocracy thought. Now, listen. All the ceremonial bullshit jobs you guys create, knock yourself out with the fat black lesbians. Go nuts. But when it comes to real important jobs, then we need boring white guys or fat black lesbians who are really good at fire prevention.
Who are qualified or have done it before.
Right.
Like one of the things they suggested as these commissioners were leaving is instead of 5 to expand it to 7 and include an active duty and retired LAFD member. And it's like, how is that not already part of having someone who knows what they're doing?
What is their title again?
It is the Board of Fire Commissioners.
Right, but nobody who's ever been in a firehouse.
There's a school board member and a fat black lesbian.
So fucking. Here's what I'm saying, people. Eventually, people die with your bullshit DEI stuff. Eventually. Again, it doesn't look. You let the chick on to the campus of Harvard, even though her SAT scores weren't as good as the Asian chick, and toss the Asian chick off. Nobody dies. But you give them these kind of important positions, and yes, people get killed. Also, and I'll play the clip. People forget about this. We played it right after the fire. This is totally insane. What is this dude's or chick's name? This is or position, I guess. LAFD. I can't read. Assistant chief. All right, the assistant chief of the LA Fire Department is a large brown woman, and she's going to sit down and give us her feelings on fire prevention.
You want to see somebody that responds to your house, your emergency, whether it's a medical call or a fire call, that looks like you. It gives that person a little bit more ease.
Pause it. First off, that's an insanely racist thought. It's an insanely racist thought. And I think there's a lot of projection. I think a lot of black and brown people are actually racist, and they think we invented racism, so we're going to have this kind of racist thought. I have no idea and no thoughts about the color or even gender of the person that shows up to my house. I just want them to show up. And by the way, half the time a fire department shows up, it's like the middle of the night and you're asleep and stuff.
And
like,
they've got full gear.
They have full gear
it's
and
an
it's
emergency.
dark outside.
You don't know whether they look like you or not.
Yeah, so...
and you don't care. If they're qualified, then...
Right, although I would prefer a dude if I need to be carried out of the house. But anyway...
And in good shape, not a bulging body under the fire suit.
So not a fat broad. But anyway, she's going to explain that you want a person that looks like you. It's also... The insinuation is like... Well, a white fireman is going to help a white guy, but it's not going to help a black guy. And a black fireman might not help a white guy. It's like, are you fucking nuts? Get your badge, take your oath, and do your job. No one cares. All right, but here it is. Sorry.
You want to see somebody that responds to your house, your emergency, whether it's a medical call or a fire call, that looks like you. It gives that person a little bit more ease, knowing that somebody might understand their situation better. Is she strong enough to do this? Or you couldn't carry my husband out of a fire, which my response is, he got himself in the wrong place if I have to carry him out of a fire.
Okay, only 5% of working firemen are women. Somebody edited that and then okayed it and then put it on the internet. You fucking idiots.
Yeah.
Are you nuts? Your husband Sayonara. Tough shit, bro. You shouldn't have been smoking when you were so tired.
No.
Now your house is on fire, and whose fault is it? Well, I guess it's yours. So I could try to carry you out of here, or I could just go back to the truck and get some marshmallows, and you can learn a fucking lesson. Like, Jesus Christ, bitch. No one's fired her, by the way? Like, you put this video out, you need to be fired.
Well, they keep getting reassigned, because the Janethia Hudley Hayes, she was initially appointed by Antonio Villagrosa.
Oh, we got to change the name.
Served 8 years, and then was again appointed by Mayor Karen Bass. And then...
and these people get paid for this shit?
Yeah.
We are so fucking
nuts. And Janethia said, for me, it's time to retire at 81. It's time for me to take care of Janethia. So 81. Oh. And I assume it's like a Biden 81 and not a Trump 81.
And after a long career of not fighting fires.
Yes.
It's time to retire.
Yeah.
Yeah. After a long career of bilking money from taxpayers for doing fucking nothing, it's time to hang up the cleats.
And when these reports came in about the Palisades fire, how they let it burn, they didn't extinguish it completely, that there was a lot of mishandling. All these people when that report came in, they kind of refused to investigate it any further. They don't want accountability.
Well, they're like Newsom with fraud.
Yes.
He doesn't want to. He doesn't like fraud, but if it's in his state and makes him accountable, then no investigation for fraud. Yeah. That's the way it rolls. Makes sense. And by the way, these are the people you want. This is a funny one. When did this Pride magazine article come out? It says, amid Palisades fire, Los Angeles' first LGBTQ plus fire chief is proving lesbians get it done. After you burned everything down, this is lesbians getting it done?
That sounds like the slogan for a union you don't want to be a part of.
That's right. Lesbians.
Get it done.
Get it done. All right.
And when someone comes to save you, you don't want them to just look like you. You want to know who they sleep with and be like, wait, do you have the same sexual orientation as I do?
So important that they scissor and eat pussy all day. Because I'm not letting them save my kids if they're not scissoring all day with their partners. Jesus Christ. Are we fucking nuts? And by the way, could sane people start piping up and explaining this DEI bullshit is dangerous?
Yes.
It's dangerous.
Well, the thing that annoys me the most about it, I've heard people on the left, they try to retroactively claim that DEI is what gave us like affirmative action, and then they go into the civil rights movement, and then they say that the Americans with Disabilities Act, that everything that ever helped the disenfranchised group was DEI, and that's not true at all.
Yes, the dumb shits from The View are like, he's against DEI because he doesn't want to see black people, and no. It's none of that.
That term diversity, equity, and inclusion never appeared together anywhere until around the George Floyd riots. It started gaining momentum. And then there was a bill that Biden passed that used DEI like 23 times. And it's just quota-based hiring based on identity politics. That's all that it is.
Yes. So what we're saying is we would like a world-class orchestra, and we will hire the best violinists and cellists and French horn players and we will not pay attention to the color of their skin because we want a world-class orchestra. Now, it doesn't mean there's not going to be black and Hispanics in the orchestra. We just want the best players for the orchestra. And if you think black and Hispanic are underrepresented in the orchestra, then you may want to start a program reaching out to these people and getting them involved with music at a younger age. But we're not going to fuck up the orchestra and shove in some people that look like you, asshole.
Yep. And then because of intersectionality, it became even worse. It even disenfranchised some of those people. There was a project I was working on at the time, and they had a big DEI department. And I tried to recommend a black friend as a writer, but they said no, because it can't be a straight black guy.
Yeah, that's
And I recommended a gay guy, but they were like, no, it's a white gay guy. You need to have all the right intersectionality, genderqueer requirements to fulfill the role.
It's sad. And like I said, when it's the orchestra or a sitcom, people aren't dying. But when you start getting into positions like fire chief, then people die.
Yep. Yeah.
All right. What else?
You mentioned fraud earlier. There's first there was the daycare center fraud in Minnesota. Now, there's a CBS investigation. A salon, a modeling agency, and 89 hospices are registered to one 3-story LA building. The Merabi Professional Medical Plaza, a 3-story, 32,000 square foot stucco and glass building, is home to 89 licensed hospice companies.
89?
Yes. This particular building, patient advocate Sheila Clark said, I noticed this particular building and I'm like, dang, how can there be that many licensed and certified hospices in this tiny little building? It's something called clustering, which is grouping large numbers of hospice offices together. And it's basically a way to, fraud the government out of benefits and funding for these companies that may not be actually there.
It's so insane. And listen, you can't have this kind of chasm between how much you expect the taxpayer to give you versus how you treat the money they give you. And so what I've always said about Los Angeles and California and any blue state or any sanctuary state is there are always going to be citizens that cost you money and then citizens that pay for the citizens that cost you money. Now, the government doesn't have money, but they'll take your money and they'll give some welfare or school lunches or build a prison or incarcerate or mental services or whatever. But so there's a group of people who are basically takers. And I'm not even using it as a pejorative. I'm just kind of saying you guys are at a deficit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like saying I have an employee, he eats a lot of food, he doesn't really get much done, and he steals supplies. It's like, okay, well, that person is a negative on your business. And then there'll be ones that come in early and stay late and do the work of 3, and that's a positive. And so what you hope for is like the one guy's doing the work of 3 can kind of spackle over the guy stealing the supplies, but it'd be nice to get rid of that guy at a certain point. And so LA has a thing. And by the way, the takers, the criminals or the people that are on welfare or the people that are, their chronic back problems that are on disability or whatever, you need to, first off, let's not make them into heroes. These are takers. Let's do the best we can with them efficiently, but let's not yell at the other people who are paying to pay more so we can take care of more takers, especially when most of them are making the shit up.
Yeah.
And whether it's New York or it's LA, their plan is like, we got to get more income to take care of more of this. And my answer is you're already at the top of the fucking heap in terms of taking income from citizens. You can keep going higher, but like according to my math, people living in California 15 years from now will take home 25% of their pay, and the other 75 is going to you guys. So I don't like where this is heading. We're already at about 50-50 federal and state. So let's work on the money that's flying out the window with all the takers. And nobody's saying take the person with polio and shove them off a cliff. We're saying take the person who's faking polio, and there's a lot of them, and let's see if we can stop that bleeding, and then you won't need to keep coming after us for more money. But their only solution is come after the creators and the people doing the work of 3 and see if they can get them to do the work of 4 and pay no never mind to the people that are taking all the money, which is, it's insane, but it's also really super nervy. Like if you think about it, like it's like literally just going, like, could you imagine your parents with a straight face going, look, your brother chooses not to work. He chooses not to do chores. He doesn't want to do anything. And we're already taking about half of your allowance and funneling it over to your brother And you're like, where is he? I don't know, he's probably playing video games and eating taffy right now. Yeah, why doesn't he work again? Don't worry about that. We're at about 50%. What we're looking for is about 60%, so we can channel more. How about you go talk to the guy?
And maybe you can do more chores to earn more allowance to give more of it to him.
How about you talk to the guy who's not doing anything?
Exactly.
And also, you're welcome.
Yes.
Like, instead of yelling at me, I'm not paying my fair share, I'm not doing enough chores, how about you go find the guy who's not doing any chores and go fucking talk to him?
And you have the taker side like that. And then the government agencies that oversee all this, it's the same people that go over budget on bridge projects and stuff. You mentioned New York. There was a study that came out this week, I think, that it's New York City spends as much per year on each homeless person as a family makes in a year.
Right.
That's how much money they're pouring into just every homeless person.
It has to go that way because it's not their money. They're spending your money. It's always going to work that way. So they're going, and now Kathy Holcomb, who's appears to be an idiot, is like now trying to get her high dollar people not to leave.
Yeah.
And she's like saying, come on, do the right thing. They're like, fuck you, I'm going to Florida. Like, your business plan is chasing off the people who do the work of three and do all the chores. Your business plan for this house is alienating the son that does all the chores and getting him to move to Nashville and being left with the fucking flopped out son, the flunky who does nothing.
Yeah,
that's your strategy.
We lose all the billionaires and we keep all the homeless, basically.
Right. That's your plan.
Yeah.
I don't know why no one has really seemed to figure that one out. And also, Mamdani or whoever, you thinking rich guys are going to do the right thing? Rich guys already pay half their income for shit they don't use.
Yeah.
So do not try to guilt them. You know what I mean? It's a weird thing. It's like saying, I got a parking ticket and it was $57, and then someone goes, why don't you do the right thing and pay $80? It's like, I'm pissed at 57, bro. Like, I already am angry at 57. What do you mean the right thing?
And I'm glad the fraud's finally being exposed, because it seems like because they're throwing other people's money at this, they haven't previously shown much interest in exposing this fraud, which is going on. Like,
I think it's deeper, and sorry for cutting you off, but
no, not at all.
I think it's two things. It's A, it's your money, so who gives a shit?
Yeah.
B, it's our constituency. Let's not piss off the people that are voting for us by looking into their fraud.
Yeah.
That is our constituency. I mean, Somalians in Minnesota, I mean, you don't think these people, Tim Walz, knew anything about this?
They had the Leering Center up there. And then some of the signs of fraud that they found with this hospice center, they had 6 times the normal number of hospice centers in one area as any other state. There was more hospice center providers than they needed for the elderly population in that area. There was a guy who was on their records as receiving ongoing medication for both diabetes and malaria. Which is like, no one in California has contracted malaria in years. And there was nurses would report that about the grief of a family that lost a patient there, and there was no record that the patient ever actually died.
Well, here's the whole thing, everybody, all the time. I've now sadly realized it. People are no different than pets. And it's sad. But I mean, my dog Phil never listened to a word I said. But as soon as Dr. Drew got a little treat in his hand, he sat, he laid down. He did everything Drew told him to do, but he needed the treat.
Yeah.
And sorry, that's what he does. You know what I mean? And you go, but why doesn't he just do the right thing? It's like, because he's a dog, and he's just going to do what's in it for him. And you can do two things. You can either give him a treat or you can beat him. Either way, you can get him to sit. It's got to be one or the other.
So you're saying we should beat the hospice
owners? I'm saying beat
if I'm following.
People in hospice care is what I'm saying.
What's in hospice care?
Is one of those hospice centers named the Mario Lopez Memorial?
Not yet, but
nothing?
I think they're going to have to. Right now it's Merabi Plaza, but if Merabi has here's the thing.
we can either dream of a world where on Halloween you leave the big plastic pumpkin on the porch and you put all the M&Ms in there and all the peanut butter cups, and you put a little sign that says limit yourself to one. Limit yourself one.
Yep.
We can dream of a world where every kid who walks up just takes one and walks away, or we can take a guy with a fucking shotgun and have him stand next to the pumpkin. The dream of the world part, I was with you, except for first guy comes in, takes the pumpkin. So that doesn't work because it goes against human nature. The kid is not a criminal. He may not even be bad. He just looks down, sees a pumpkin filled with peanut butter cups, realizes he loves peanut butter cups, looks around, and helps himself to all the peanut butter cups. That's called the human condition. That's how adults are.
And you just need someone there to beat them.
We need somebody to beat them. No, that is. So when you start all these programs, immediately they get abused. And they get abused in a weird way. They turn decent people sort of into criminals. Like anyone who gets divorced, you take your ex-wife who was a decent person before the divorce, you turn her into a horrible criminal. Yeah, essentially, like an immoral person, like someone who's like will take all the money and do whatever, like a real disappointing person because the law turned her into it. And they go, well, is this person a thief? No, but if the law is on their side, then they're going to take as much of your shit as they can that they didn't earn. Oh, we got Hochul.
Oh, okay.
New York governor told Trump voters. Oh, this is it. Told him. And do I have a clip of it? Sorry.
The era of Trump and Zeldin and Molinaro, just jump on a bus and head down to Florida where you belong, okay? Get out of town.
Yeah.
Get out of town.
Get out. Take your wallet.
You don't represent our values.
Their values.
You are not New Yorkers.
Hold on. Hey, bitch, we pay for your values. We may not represent. We don't represent getting illegals abortions or sex changes, but we fucking pay for it. I love it. By the way, she's a fucking dope.
She's awful.
She's a dope. And you can't have dope. Again, DEI and dopes in positions of power. So anyway, 2022, she's telling all the Trump people to hit the bricks. But now this is her now. Sorry.
Being conscious of the facts that I need people who are high net worth to support the generous social programs that we want to have in our state. Right. Now, there are some patriotic millionaires who stepped up. Okay, cut me the checks. I mean, just if you want to be supportive, but maybe the first step should be go down to Palm Beach and see who you can bring back home, because our tax base has been eroded.
All right.
So
she doesn't have any money, but by the way, we don't share your values. What the fuck values are you talking about? Run the city competently and don't let my values are, I don't want Palisades to burn down. I don't want New York to go broke. Those are my values. What are your values? Oh, it's the LGBT plus community. Okay. Yeah. So run everyone out. It's so retarded. And by the way, chicks do it all the time. They go, Elon Musk, you're a dope. You've never done anything. Get out of here. It's like, okay, I'll take me and my 700,000 employees.
Five different companies and rockets and electric cars and AI.
Yes. All right. This Friday and Saturday, Norfolk, Nebraska, at the District Event Center. 2 shows. Early show on Friday is pretty much sold out, but there'll be shows Friday and Saturday, late shows and that kind of stuff. You go to adamcarolla.com. Lincoln, I'm going on Sunday, by the way. Just go to adamcarolla.com for all the live shows. What can I plug for you, other Adam?
I got canceled news on my YouTube channel. I will be at the Junkyard in Simi Valley April 11th, and I'll be at the Kenosha Comedy Club with Yakov May 29th and 30th.
By the way, Junkyard's not a gig. He's picking out a new master cylinder for his Toyota.
I am. I got to be digging.
Pulling one off a RAV4.
Hopefully an audience will show up to watch.
All right. Until next time, it's time for Nick Leisure and Brian Austin Green and Adam Yenzer saying mahalo.
Charlie was a friend of ours, Charlie. We were at a fundraiser at our friend's house,
for Turning Point USA. And when I first met him, it was at one of the fundraisers, and I just went because they're very good friends of ours. And she said, "Yeah, I love you." And when he started talking, I said, I mean, it was a good fun. It was just 12 people, but it was a really good fundraiser. And I really challenged him. I said, "Well, how are you going to accomplish these?" And there was not a flutter in that sail, man. He said, full steam. I'm mixing metaphors, sails and steam. Anyway, he explained how Turning Point worked, and how it worked on campuses, how it could affect the election, how we could get somebody in there who wasn't a moron like Kamala Harris, and I don't make fun of Joe Biden because he clearly has dementia issues. I think he was a worthless, disgusting piece of scum before he got sick. But once he's sick, I won't say a horrible thing about him. And it was like really important. So I got to know him. The last time we saw him, he was sitting right next to Sarah, and he wasn't able to speak because he had laryngitis. So he had people. I said, "Charlie, could I say a few words?" And I spoke for 45 minutes on his behalf, and he was very, very appreciative. Sarah was, like many of us, really, really broken by that assassination, way beyond the obvious, which of course you would be. She said, to see someone be murdered in real time that you liked and you were talking to a few months ago, she said, it's what country are we living in? And the clickbait, the rage baiting stuff that goes on, look, I've been at a lot of hospitals, a lot of treatment, and nurses are fantastic people, as you said. But the ones who aren't are doubly sinful, because if you are, there's this one nurse who said she wanted to use, I don't know how you know, succoline, to paralyze patients if they were ICE agents or if they supported Trump or whatever. I'm saying, so you're basically promoting poisoning people to death as a nurse. And now when I go in a hospital, I think, is there another lunatic like you? And secondly, why is this person not in prison? There's no discussion about it, because you are provoking someone else to do this stuff. Like these people are talking about, hurting ICE agents and so on. Look, I'm a Roman Catholic. I was an altar boy. I think abortion is murder. That's what I think. I'm entitled to think that. I'm an American. I'm a Catholic. I have a friend who's an arch feminist. She's a liberal woman, brilliant. She thinks something differently. We agree on almost everything once we sit down and talk. But I say, Carol, we'll never agree on this issue. And she said, yeah, and we understand why. Mm-hmm. But the people who disagree on these things and think, well, because you disagree, look, I'm not going to go and kill an abortion doctor because that would be murder. You can't do that. So when abortion was federally legal, according to the Supreme Court, incorrectly, as it turned out, and we all knew that, except people who didn't want to believe it, that didn't give you a right to go around promoting the murder of abortion doctors, even though they themselves are murderers. But, we can't do that. It's not what we do in the United States. But it's okay to start provoking people to murder ICE agents. If you don't like it, we have a process. It's called a redress of grievances. If you actually ever took a civics lesson, you actually have a way of changing the law. You want to have a wide open border and let 18,000 terrorist people in, who are promoted by terrorists. I mean, well, just the fact that I just prayed this week that for once the party that I was devoted to for 30 years wouldn't once again be on the wrong side of history, and not come out and say, but Khomeini wasn't such a bad guy. This guy who murdered 60,000 people in the past 30 days, how can you stand for this with a straight face? But they do it, and they do it in lockstep, and it's just shocking.
I know, I agree.
I mean,
I agree 100%. But what it is, what I've realized, and I like an example or a metaphor. The politicians, they do this thing where they go, we got to lower the temperature, and so on and so forth. And then they go, Trump is Hitlerian, and these ICE agents are rogue, and they're thugs, and they answer to nobody, and they're kicking open doors and grabbing American citizens and disappearing them. So, okay, so none of that's happening.
It's all bullshit.
Right, it's all bullshit, and they know.
And there can be an accident where it
they
might
know
have
it's
happened.
bullshit, but the 19-year-old with his dad's hunting gun, who's on all the meds, believes them.
Right,
and that's what gets people killed.
That person is what was called, I think, was it Lenin who called them useful idiots?
Yes. So this example is, it's sort of like you go, all right, let's just say you're a wife and you say to your brother, who's a little younger and a little volatile, look, my husband, Fred, he beats the shit out of me every night. He's a horrible guy. He's addicted to alcohol and gambling. He's a womanizer. And I'm scared he's gonna kill me. Well, then there's a good chance Fred may show up one day with a pistol, or I'm sorry, the brother may show up with a pistol and take Fred out. Now, the wife is lying. The wife's just talking. But your talk is influencing this person, and you're going to get your husband, who doesn't do this stuff, killed. And then you say, I never told my brother to kill him. No, your brother did the math.
I've had people lie about me, on the internet and so on, and it becomes a mantra, and it's not true. I had a guy lie about me. I won the lawsuit, so I can't talk about it, and I just said I'm going to sue him. Fuck, I'll sue. Anybody who gives me a hard time is like, here's the one thing they don't understand. I love this shit. You want a battle? Great, let's do it. Except I learned this one thing when I played Roy Cohn. I thought, boy, what an evil guy this was. Except he did one thing that I thought was really good. I always say to people, I give you one chance to stop your shit, but once you don't stop your shit, understand this. If we're going to engage, I'm never stopping. Never stopping. You win the first round, I'll find another way to say, whatever it takes, I'm never stopping. Here's the part that you left out. Again, you always have to think. Here's where thinking comes in. You left out the one possibility with Fred's wife. Let's call her Tina. Okay? Here's the problem with Tina. How do we know that she hasn't already done the groundwork? I'm putting together the chess game here and thinking, I got to get rid of Fred because I'm banging Bill over at the office. So maybe I'll get the kid brother to do it, and so on, because she is a sociopathic killer. And you don't know. So when these people are all provoking people to murder ICE agents and do all this stuff, the people who are doing it, I mean, you think this fraud is accidental? You think like the worst human being in America is a man named Adam Schiff.
Yes.
He is.
I do hate that guy.
He is a horrible, censured liar, human being. He promoted that Russia hoax. What people never realize is while he was doing it, and all of the media were on lockstep with all the mantras that whoever would write up for them every day, their talking points, and then all the useful idiots would follow it in the Democratic Party. And they still say it. I mean, Stephen Colbert, I can't believe I'm saying his name, literally used these words. Trump is Putin's cock holster. Said this about the President of the United States.
Right.
Okay. I have to say, it's like on a network television. It's just appalling, and it was a complete and utter psyop. It was a psychological operation done, But
the part that was interesting, and it's the part
and people believed it, and this guy's still promoting it.
The part that people should really stop and focus on is when they did drill down onto Russia and what they were trying to do. It turns out much of what they were trying to do is sow racial division, not the election. So you dumbos fell for all of it, but
Black Lives Matter and all that stuff.
They weren't even working on Trump in the election, most of their efforts were sowing racial division, which you guys bought into and we found out about, but it didn't seem to slow Adam Schiff's role to go right back into this mantra of Russian collusion and Putin's puppet and cat's paw and all that kind of stuff. It's not, for me, it's a little less about them, and I sort of feel this way about COVID. It's kind of more like, what were you guys how gullible is the average American, and how much do you buy into this, and what happened to you?
Well, 77 million of us didn't buy into it. Yes. And the same 77 million, that vaccine, man, I tell you, I said to my doctor, he said, well, you're older and you've got a heart condition, you probably do it. And man, the one thing I wish I had never done in my life was let that shit, come near me. Luckily, I didn't do any of the boosters and so on. But, we don't know for sure. But here's the thing. These people have a different agenda than you think. All of this ICE stuff, all of it, it's only about one thing. This bright, shiny object, so that we can take the heat off all of the Democrat corruption. The amount, we have a $38 trillion debt. I'm a gambling man. I guarantee you half of that is Democrat corruption.